Build scaffolds and machines with the help of your airship fleet as the water level rises higher and higher in Whistle Mountain. Thank you for joining me today at Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Kevin Delp. Whistle Mountain is a 2 to 4 player tile placement, worker placement game that plays in about 60 to 90 minutes. It's designed by Scott Caputo and Luke Laurie, and it's published by Bezier Games. We have a pre-production copy here with us today from Bezier. That means it's super close to the final copy, but not the final copy yet. The main game board has tokens, tiles, workers, and the starting water level. Each player has a player board with their airships and a starting ability. There's resources and point tokens off to the side as well. Here's a quick overview of the game. Players are going to be moving their airships around the board, gaining items, eventually building those items on the board, moving their workers to the tower so they don't get lost in the whirlpool as the water level rises. Once all workers are out of the barracks, the game comes to a close and the person with the most points wins. On your turn, you choose to either collect or forge. If you choose collect, then you'll place one of your airships on the board to one of the open spots, like to pay the cost for a machine or cards at the top. You could go for an upgrade at the market, get scaffolding on the right side of the board, or try to save a worker from the whirlpool. Or you could place your airship on the grid and collect any resources that your ship is next to. You're not allowed to place a ship on the scaffold, but you can place one on a machine. Forging, instead of collecting, is how you build scaffolds and machines on the board. Your first build is free, building scaffolds on the board. You will get a point for each connected section. You can build machines that also give you points over scaffolds as long as it is completely supported. You can also work by moving or rescuing a worker onto an open space on a grid. If a machine ever covers a worker, then you move the worker over to the tower. That not only gives you endgame points, but also if you're the first one in that section, you get an award. These are special one-time use bonuses that you can play on your turn. If a machine ever crosses the danger line, then the water level rises 1 level. Any workers in that line go to the whirlpool, and any airships would get returned to the players. The game end is triggered when all workers are gone from the barracks. That can either happen from them being moved by players, or if the water level rises so far that they get thrown into the whirlpool. Players count up their points to see who wins, not only from points that you gathered during the game, but also points from workers on the tower, upgrades, any leftover pieces that you didn't build, like machines or scaffolds, points for unused cards and leftover resources, but you lose 5 points for every worker that's in the whirlpool. There's a great icon reference at the back of the rulebook. Actually, the whole rulebook is well laid out and will be able to answer any questions you might have. There's references for cards. You have these starting abilities. You have all the upgrade descriptions. And then, of course, all the machines for the small, medium, and large. Now, you might already be familiar with another game published by Bezier Games called Whistle Stop that they published a few years ago. Now, the similarities are not in the gameplay. Whistle Stop is more about route building and tiling, whereas Whistle Mountain is more about worker placement and tiling. The similarities that you see between the two are things like the components. You have coal and whistles in both of them. But Whistle Mountain has upgraded tokens that are pretty cool. And both games have these upgrades, but they are totally different from each other because the game mechanics are different. Now we have the pre-production copy, so some things will change, like the holders for the water will be brown instead of white. There's a ton of replayability in the game. Not only do you have the scaffolds that are differently shaped with different resource icons on them, but then you also have all the machines, small, medium, and large. And the cards offer a lot of benefits too, like special actions that can get you ahead in the game. There's some player interaction in this game as well. You could leave another player's workers high and dry on a scaffold if you can place a machine in just the right place. And this is a worker placement game, so someone could take a spot that you really need and it's not available. But there is this cycle to the game where players are placing out their airships and retrieving them. So you could sort of go off cycle so that there's more spots available to you. I like that the airships are different sizes: the hot air balloon, the blimp, and then the dreadnought. There's definitely a flow to the game and a timing aspect as you collect resources to get scaffolds and machines, build those scaffolds and machines in the main area, and get those workers out of your barracks into the main area and get them to the tower at the right time. Since you can gain points many different ways, many of the starting abilities help give you a little direction of what to do at the beginning of the game. I like the art style with the color choices and theme. The graphic design is easy to understand too. I personally really enjoyed playing Whistle Mountain, and Melissa did as well. If you like games like Zulkin or Terraforming Mars, I think you're really going to like this because you have the worker placement and tile placement aspects that are similar to those games. And where in Zulkin, you either have to place workers out or retrieve them. You have that in this game. And in Terraforming Mars, everyone's sort of working on the same area as you are laying tiles on the board like you have in Whistle Mountain. But there's some unique things like the water level rising, and that creates some great tension in the game. So if this sounds like something you would enjoy, then check out Whistle Mountain from Bezier Games. And as always, we'd love for you to subscribe to Tantrum House and hit the like button on this video.